Well, Mother's Day is always a special day, and mothers are obviously special to us. And the passage we're going to be looking at on Sunday morning and you're going to be looking at together is about a mother. And yet it's not really nearly so much a mothering story. It's, even though his name never occurs in the story, it's a God story. Uh, Jochebed is a woman who had to feel utterly forgotten. Where is God in all of this? Even to have a baby meant, if it was a boy, his life was forfeit immediately. And in the midst of a culture, how could she hope, first of all, that her child would live? And then when he lived and they preserved his life, how could he ever be a Hebrew? How could he ever be an Israelite? He'd been taken by the Egyptians and absorbed into that. And, even though the situation is very different, how do we parent in a culture in which all of these enemies, all of these attacks, what does it mean to raise up our children when the Egyptians are all around us and the pressures are there? And the striking thing is that here's a woman who had a few short years, and because she trusted in God, first of all, her baby's life was spared, and then, in a way that she never knew, God had provided his nation for the deliverer he needed through her. Her faith in God, even when he seemed absent. She was convinced he was present. And the chain of circumstances and the way in which God works reminds us that our duty is not to understand God or to see always his hand, but to trust him and do the next thing in obedience to him. She's a remarkable woman, and it's a remarkable way that God works his purposes. So it'll stretch you, it stretches me, but it will also strengthen you to see that even though she only had her son for a few years, at the core of his being, after 40 years in the Pharaoh's court, Moses knew he was a Hebrew, not an Egyptian. She'd given him his identity. And God was working to provide him with what he needed to be the leader 80 years later. It's a long time to wait to see your parenting work out well. As a matter of fact, she was in heaven by then. But God's at work. So have fun as you look at this unusual but significant story.